Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn about certain important graphs and we'll be learning about certain important technical terms when it comes to the activation energy. Okay, so before we proceed on to the basic topic of ours, I must tell you that in chemistry we study about the reactions, and those reactions, the reactant get converted into products. Now, for the reactant to get converted into product, if we have say two or more than two number of reactants, then they have to collide with each other. Okay, so that's called the collision. So they have to collide with each other and then only they get converted into product. Now merely all the collisions will not lead to conversion into product. Only few of the collisions will be fruitful and they will only lead to the conversion of the reactant into product. So let us understand it with the help of the graphs and certain terms. Suppose we consider a reaction H2 plus I2 to give us 2HI. Now children, here if you see, then we have this hydrogen molecule. So there is a bond which is existing between hydrogen molecule, and this is iodine, wherein we have a bond which is existing between the iodine molecule, right? So if you look at it at the complete figure, this H2 plus I2 is giving us hydrogen iodide HI. So that means that out of this H and H bond and I bond, they will break gradually and simultaneously bond between hydrogen and iodine will be formed. So this is going to be a simultaneous process. Once again I will repeat that the bond between hydrogen and iodine will weaken over a period of time, and the bond will be formed between hydrogen and iodine, and that will give us two HI molecules. Right here you can see in the reactants how the reactants are getting converted into product. So here we can clearly see that these two are the reactants. This is our transition state or the intermediate state, and these are our products. Now let us understand this with the help of a graph. Okay, so if we plot a graph between energy and the reaction coordinates, see when a reactant they are stationary, okay, then they will have some mass, and due to or owing to the virtue of having mass and their shape, they will have something called, we call the potential energy. Okay, gradually over a period of time, when they have to collide with each other, they have certain amount of kinetic energy also. That means we have to provide them with certain minimum amount of energy for them to come near to each other for the collision to take place, so that they can reach the transition state and finally get converted into product. Now you must be wondering, what is this reaction coordinate? So children, reaction coordinate is nothing but the energy levels which keeps changing while the reaction is proceeding to give us the product. Okay, so reaction coordinates depict those energy changes which are taking place in our reaction for the reactant to get converted into product, right? Now, so minimum amount, this is the minimum amount of energy with the reactants have, and finally once we give them this activation, see this is the transition state, so to reach for the reactants to reach this transition state, we have to provide them with minimum amount of energy so that the bonds can be broken, and which leads to the formation of new bonds. So this minimum activation energy only is known as the activation energy, and this is our EA. What do we represent it as? EA. In the Arrhenius equation, this factor came, right? So this is what EA is. Now see, we can see that the reactants are reaching the transition state, and then they are getting converted to product. And we can compare here easily that the reactants have more energy as compared to the product, right? That means this graph depicts the rate of this graph depicts the exothermic reaction, because at the end we are having less amount of energy. So the energy would have been released from the system. Whereas in case of endothermic reaction, okay, what will happen is, if you plot a same graph, then it will be somewhat like this. If this is our reactant, and it will go, and the product will be formed somewhere over here only. This is your graph for the endothermic reaction, and this is for the exothermic reaction, because most of the energy has gone out, and that is why the products have less energy as compared to the reactant side. I am sure you would have understood this. Now let us go on to a very important picture, and this graph depicts basically the Boltzmann and the Maxwell and Boltzmann. We had read about this graph in 11th standard also. Let us plot a graph between the number of molecules which are colliding with each other and the kinetic energy which is possessed by the molecules, right? And understand this graph. So what is happening over here is that this graph comes, the shape of the graph comes like this, that we have already studied in 11th standard, and in between at the transition state we have a particular point where this is the most probable speed. That means it is the speed which is possessed by most of the molecules, right? This one, most probable speed, this is the one. Okay, so we can always match it with the y coordinate and we can draw this graph. Now what will happen, or okay, let me simplify this particular graph. Suppose in your class you have say 50 number of students. So out of those 50 number of students, few of the students will be tall, that means very tall. Few of them will be having average height and few of them will have very short height, right? So if you try to screen out the number of students, then you will find that majority of the students will have what height? Intermediate height. So this you can compare with the intermediate height, right? This portion which is having less energy, this can be compared with those students who are having shorter heights, and this side which are having more energy, that can be compared with the students which are having taller height, right? So that means now compare it with the number of molecules and how the reactants are getting converted into product. So similarly, this is the most probable speed which most of the molecules of the reactants will have. But merely possessing this most probable speed does not mean that all of them will get converted into product. Okay, so there are certain criteria which needs to be fulfilled, and then only the reactant will get converted into product, right? So molecules having more than the most probable speed, the molecules which have more than the most probable speed, they are having greater activation energy and they will only get converted into the product, right? So what do we conclude is, now let us increase the temperature. We had learned about increase in temperature also, and we had seen that with every 10-degree increase in temperature, the rate of the reaction doubles up, right? So let us draw it and see what do we get. So if we increase the temperature, the kinetic energy of the molecule is going to increase. So our graph is going to shift onto the other side, onto more towards the right side, and it will be somewhat like this. Okay, so we can see that the peak has shifted more towards the right side. Okay, now here if we see this point, basically this point, if you see, then since it has shifted towards now we can see that the most probable speed is also shifting onto the right side towards the higher energy side. Can you see? Okay, and if we see initially if this is the activation energy EA, then only these many molecules would be getting converted to product. Okay, we can mark it as A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. That means all those molecules which are enclosed in this particular area, they will only get converted into product. But now once we have increased the temperature and the graph has shifted towards, or the peak has shifted more towards the right side, we can see that now more number of molecules would be getting converted into product, because now we have increased the area. See, it is A, B, C, D. It is now not restricted till D. It has now come to E. So this portion has also been included, this portion. So in a nutshell, we can see that on increase in temperature, now more number of the molecules are getting converted into the product. Understood? That means what do we conclude is that increase in rate of the reaction with rise in temperature is mainly due to increase in number of effective collision. So with the rise in temperature, the number of effective collision children are those collision which are giving you or getting the reactant converted into product. They are called the effective collision. So they are basically increasing the effective collision. Okay, and only a small fraction, we must remember this point, this is very important point, that only a small fraction of the collision are effective in bringing about the chemical reaction and rest of them are non-effective. Now another term we have over here is, that is threshold energy. So what is threshold energy? That also we should understand. Threshold energy. So threshold energy is for effective collision to yield products. the colliding molecules must have more than or equal to certain minimum amount of energy. That minimum amount of energy only is known as threshold energy, right? Now we'll understand one more thing over here, and that is effect of catalyst. Effect of catalyst. So children, we have already studied that catalysts are those substances which speed up the rate of reaction, and they do not get utilized. They can be extracted back towards the end of the reaction. That means they only merely work to speed up the rate of the reaction, right? They are the catalysts. So if we draw a graph between, this is the energy, the potential energy you can say, and this is the reaction coordinate. So the graph which we got, that was like this, sum of the reactants, transition state, and then the products, right? This is the transition state. These are the reactants here, and we have the product. Now once the catalysts are introduced, so what happens? And this is our activation energy, this one, from here to here. This is our EA, activation energy. Now once we have added the catalyst, on addition of the catalyst, what happens is that the graph goes like this. Like this. So what are we doing? That we are basically reducing the activation. Initially we had to apply this, give this much of activation energy, and on addition of the catalyst, now this reduces to this much only. So that means we have to now give less amount of activation energy is required for the reactant to get converted into product. So this leads to increase in the rate of the reaction, right? Now, and two more important things we have to understand over here. First one is that catalyst reduces the activation energy of the reaction, and hence the reaction proceeds at a faster rate. Now second is, now what about the value of delta G then? We have already spoken that delta G value should be negative for a reaction to take place, or for the reaction to be thermodynamically supported. Okay, so children, I must tell you here that for a reaction, catalysts are effective for those reactions only for which delta G value is already negative. Understood? For the catalyst to act on a particular reaction, delta G value should already be negative. That means catalysts are not going to affect the value of delta G. Once again I will repeat that the catalyst will not be affecting the value of delta G. That means catalyst does not interfere with delta G at all. It only works on those reactions for which delta G value is already negative. Okay, understood? And these reactions only are thermodynamically feasible. Now we'll talk about another factor over here which we call Kc, or the equilibrium constant. So let us speak about it. Equilibrium constant. Now we can see that the catalyst increases the rate of the reaction, but they are increasing definitely the rate of the reaction, but do they actually shift the equilibrium towards either side? Answer is no. The catalyst, if they are speeding up the reaction by decreasing the activation energy, that we can see, but they do not alter the equilibrium constant of any reaction, because they are increasing the reaction rate onto both the sides, onto right side also and onto left side also. So in a nutshell, if you see that the equilibrium remains wherever it is supposed to be. And so we can say basically that they are working, the catalyst work by reducing the activation energy by giving alternative path to the reactant to get converted into product, but without altering the equilibrium constant or the value of Kc. Understood? So both of them, delta G and Kc, remains non-effective when it comes to catalyst. So catalyst merely work by reducing the activation energy of the reactant, and hence they speed up the rate of the reaction. Thank you, children.